चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our weekly Gita study. I cannot see you all very well because the glasses are not there. They're getting my glasses. But I'm pretty sure all of you are there. So how many of you do your Gita reading or Gita study at your home? Anyone here? Okay, couple of them. So my request is whatever you uh, understand on Sunday evening, throughout the week you have some time to go through it. Just spend some time because I was just reading through this particular chapter. This particular chapter in Sanskrit is called as the Sanyasa Yoga. That means it's not just casual. People go to temple and sit and just for the sake of it hear something. It's not like that. Actually, Krishna in English, Prabhupada translates this chapter as action in Krishna consciousness. That means this requires some level of internalization. These concepts. Of course, Krishna clarifies to Arjuna what the sannyasa is. Sannyasa, he says, not of work, but sannyasa in work. That means while we are working, we have to be detached from the fruits or results of work. So, therefore, these concepts they have to be a little more studied, or we have to become a little more familiar. Otherwise, we'll never catch hold of what is being taught. So, in this fifth chapter, Krishna is talking about the Sanyasa Yoga. Before we study the verse today, you will see in this world there are two principles. Krishna is one principle, or you can say there is, broadly speaking, the two categorizations of consciousness. So one is called as the Krishna consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and other one is called as material consciousness. Now, under material consciousness, you have another huge variety of levels of consciousness, because how much of a time we spend in this world, in whatever identities, they all fall under material consciousness, where spiritual consciousness is one. So broadly speaking, there are two levels of consciousness. Thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna. And whatever work we do in our life, everything is influenced by our consciousness. What See, suffering is inevitable. We all have to suffer, but what kind of suffering, that also is dependent upon our consciousness. So we all know, we have heard this story. Once, there was a father and his son, and the son wanted to drive the car that day. They had planned for a vacation, and the father said, "No, you cannot drive. You're too young. You you cannot even reach the accelerator pedal. How can you drive?" The son was obstinate. He said, "I want to drive. I want to drive the car. You sit on the side seat. I'll be the main driver today." So that time, the father was in a thought, and you know what happened, right? What was the solution that worked out well? What did the father do? Yes, none of you have ever heard this, except you've never heard this. I mean, I've repeated multiple times here. Okay, I'll repeat the story. There's father, and they had planned out for a family vacation, and as they were heading out of the home, That is the time the small son said, I want to drive the car today. And father said, you cannot drive because it's very dangerous. But son was very obstinate. So what did the father do? What would you do if you are in the position of the father? Make him sit on the lap. Yeah, our son said, this is all tricks. I want to be the only driver. Because sitting on the lap, father will also use the steering wheel. Yes. Yeah, very good. Isn't it? You remember? We discussed this multiple times. Yeah, therefore we have to pay attention. So so the father was very smart. So he said, okay, if you want to drive your own car, take this toy car. You drive your own toy car because you get the entire feeling of, yes, I am the one driving the car. But then this car I will drive. Son was very happy with the solution. So of course the toy car cannot travel long distance. 20 minutes he tried. He was, he was thinking he's on NFS, he's racing and everything. But for our eyes, for the father's eyes, it was just a toy, just a play. So he was doing for 20 minutes. He felt great that I am the one controlling the car. I am the one driving the car, the sole driver. I am also a driver, not just my father, not just these people. I also know driving. So he felt very great about himself, and then he got tired, and he said, "Okay, okay, I want, since I'm tired, I'll just join you." So father put the toy car in the dicky, and they left. So this is very, very meaningful to our lives, this story, and I'll tell you how. And this is what is relevant to what we're going to discuss today. We all want to have a sense of doership, isn't it? What is the meaning of doership? I'm the one. We want to raise our collars and say that I have actually done something. The feeling of accomplishment, of achieving something in this world, to show that I'm great. Yes, Krishna is the greatest, but I am also not zero. I am also great. May not be as much as him, but I'm somewhere there. So there is a strong sense of doership, and that is the driving force to be in this material world. The strong sense of doership mentality. That means in India, generally, you will find that people are very happy having sent their sons or daughters to America. They talk to other fathers. They say, you know what? My son or daughter just traveled to America yesterday. So they feel very proud, isn't it? Because they feel they've achieved something. Or someone gets a job in a company he had been always, role idolizing. If I tell I get a job, this is the company I want to work in. When he gets that job, then he feels, yes, I've done it. I have done it. So the I is under in highlight. I have done it. Or if someone is very successful maintaining a family, there'll be some fights, quarrels, but he's managing somehow. He's being patient sometimes. He's losing patience sometimes. He is struggling. But at the end of the day, after 50 years, he says, we have been together 50 years, no divorce. So he feels success. I've done it. Or sometimes even while chanting Hare Krishna, we feel, today I chanted 2 hours. I've done it. So the I is very, very big. Until the time I is big, till that time, it is called as material consciousness. In earlier chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has explained that it more than the activity, actually in this same chapter previous to 5.11, Krishna has explained that more than activity, what actually binds us to this world is the consciousness with which we do the activity. If the consciousness is not of service to God, then that activity is actually keeping us in this material world. Someone can say, Prabhu, I am the most humble devotee. If the I is bigger than being humble, then that's not really humble, isn't it? Because the whole point of the statement is, I am so great that I am the most humble. So therefore, one disciple had written to Srila Prabhupada, he had said, Prabhupada, actually I am most fallen. I am most this, most that. I have no hope. I'm most fallen, he said. So Prabhupada replied saying that you're most nothing, isn't it? Why? Because whatever we take in this world, we have a tendency to show that I am great. And that is because the I is very big. And in the verses we are going to reflect today, Krishna is explaining that the consciousness is very important. Why? Because based on consciousness, we are in reality or we are in illusion. I mean, both are reality. Illusion is also reality. How many of you understand illusion is reality? Is illusion real? Yes, no? You're thinking, or I'm not getting any response. A dead crowd. Huh? It is not real. Okay. Okay. It appears to be, but it's not real. Illusion is not real. Okay. Anyone else? You have to say why. Let's make it more reasonable. So illusion is real, no? So illusion is real. Illusion exists. Yeah. So whatever is connected to Krishna is in existence. So Maya is said to be the backside of Krishna. When there is no Krishna, there is Maya. So that is also real. Illusion is also real. So till the time our consciousness is governed by material factors, we are in illusion. How much ever we may, we might shave our head, we might wear saffron, but depends on the consciousness. Let me just show you 5.1. See, since we are having actually Gita study and discussion, I would encourage more participation from your side. I don't want it to be just one side. Of course, hearing is very important. But at the same time, I also give opportunities for interaction. So please put in your points. Of course, many of us cannot put in points because we spaced out when something else was being spoken. So therefore, it's all like blank faces. See, in the first one, can you please repeat? Arjuna vacha sanyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. So fifth chapter begins with the understanding that Arjuna is again confused. Should I renounce work or should I take up work? Should I fight? Why? Because in the fourth chapter, Krishna explained to Arjuna that you have to cultivate knowledge. If you know something is not good for you, you will not do it, right? So Arjuna's idea was, if I understand what spirituality is all about, then why would I engage in killing? Because killing is not a nice activity. So Arjuna thought, okay, Krishna is telling me so much about cultivating knowledge, that means I should not fight. He thought cultivating knowledge and acting in this world are two different things. But then Krishna enlightens Arjuna by saying, no, you can cultivate knowledge and act in that knowledge. Means act with knowledge. You're fighting, understand why you're fighting, for whom you're fighting. So therefore Arjuna again had this confusion. Finally Arjuna asked the same question as he had done in third chapter. Can one of you read? Read.
Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce."
You need the mic. ठीक है जी.
Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
Yeah. Whether to renounce work or work with devotion, what is better? Okay, he said to work or to renounce. What is better? Yeah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sanyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karabhubhau Tayostu Karma Sanyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. So personality of God had replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. Why? How jnana and karma are equal? He's saying both are basically the same thing. Don't worry. How are they same? We discussed in last class, by the way.
They just have different approaches, but they all are aiming towards the same path.
They are different. What is it?
Approach.
Approach. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very close. Yeah. Something more. How are they both good for liberation?
So renunciation in this sense means leaving everything that sort of drives us away from God and taking up everything that takes us close to God. So if we are renouncing work in the sense that if we are renouncing such activities which distract us or drive us away from God and take up activities which take us close to God, so in that sense that's renunciation of work.
Okay.
Or work in devotion as in work with bhakti, like with that consciousness, then in that sense both are good for liberation from the cycle of.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Well, one of you.
Like renunciation of work is that you do not you're not attached with the fruits of that work. So that
Renunciation of work means give up work.
sorry, a renunciation of work
Yeah.
is like give up work. I mean, and like work when you work in devotion, that is like when you are not attached to the fruits of your action or whatever. So both of them are good, but work in devotion is better because at doing that you can also like do your daily activities also, but at the same time you can
What do you
also
mean daily activities?
I mean your duties that are like your prescribed duties. But at the same time, you do not need to
So how are they same? That's the question.
because in both you are not creating anything. Like you are not like thinking about the action or like the fruits of anything. So that is why it's, both of them are technically the same because not because ultimate
Hmm.
anything we do right, we care about like what are we gonna get out of this. But if we have this approach that we do not care about the fruits of anything, like either we do or not do. So
Okay. Thank you.
The main
Yeah.
thing is you realize that everything belongs to Krishna in both the.
Okay. Everything
You are
belongs to
not the
Krishna.
one who is doing it, but
Okay. Very
Krishna
good.
is the one who is.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So Krishna is actually explaining both jnana and karma. They are both same rungs of the same of the same ladder. Rungs of the same ladder. Different rungs of the same ladder. That means initially to give up is very difficult. It's not easy. That means we are accustomed to be engaged in activity. And what drives us? Why are we accustomed to acting? Why are we? What makes us? What is the driving force, or what is pushing us to act in this world?
Desire.
Desire, something more.
nature.
Nature. What is what nature? Survival. Okay.
Gratification.
Sense.
Sense gratification. No, nature was very close.
False.
How do we act here?
False.
Oh,
False
those three
mentality.
things: rajas, tamas, and
Correct. The
Oh
three
yeah,
modes of
three
material
modes of
nature.
nature. Yeah,
The three modes of material nature are the pushing force that is forcing us to act. That's why we are acting. And of course, just as you have the three colors RGB, now when the three colors mix, you get the other colors, right? Similarly, when goodness, passion, ignorance mix, you get all kinds of consciousness, all kinds of mentalities. Everything comes out by the permutation combination of the three modes. So someone is thinking, I want to help the society. Someone is thinking, hell with the society, I want to just work for myself. Someone is thinking, hell with myself and world. I just want to aim for zero. So there are different kinds of philosophies, different kinds of work, different kinds of goals in life, everything based on the three modes of material nature. And that's why we are pushed to work, Krishna says. So, therefore, when we work, it's not easy to just give up work. Like, say, for example, every day you're working, you're going to a company and you're working very hard for, say, 8 to 10 hours. Now, company gives you chutti, holiday. Now, when company gives you holiday for, say, 1 month, you have nothing to do. Such a person goes crazy because he's accustomed to work. He's affected by rajas. He cannot just stop it. So Krishna is saying you cannot just stop work. It's unnatural. You have to cultivate spiritual knowledge to understand the deeper, to grow in spirituality. Then one can give up work, like that Krishna is saying. So at the same time, while working, we cannot give up work or studies. While working or studies, if we can give the fruits of action, that is as good as giving up work. You able to understand? If one can give up the fruits of action, that means understanding that anyway these fruits is not in my hand. Krishna will give whatever. I'm not the deciding person what fruits I need to get. So such a person is said to be renounced even while working. So therefore, such karma, nishkama karma, and then comes jnana yoga. They are different rungs, but of the same ladder because it's taking one to closer to Krishna. Yeah. So Krishna is therefore saying both are good for liberation. But for you, Arjuna, better you work because you have a Kshatriya body. You have a strong tendency to fight. You cannot just give up work. Otherwise, in forest, you'll be fighting with animals because you have a tendency to fight, isn't it? So you have to fight. But you fight for me. That is as good as taking sannyas, isn't it? So if one can dedicate the fruits of one's work to Krishna, that is as good as taking sannyas. Therefore, this is called as Sanyasa Yoga.
So renunciation of work here is sannyas.
Yeah, renunciation of work is giving up work, giving up of work. And work in devotion means you're working, but the fruits you say, Krishna, this is for you. You are the giver of fruits, this is for you. I don't own them.
Can you practically describe renunciation of work? Does it mean like going away from like into some like cave or mountain or forest?
Yes, you have seen many yogis, they all sit in the Himalayas, they have nothing to do with no give and take with society. That renunciation of work. So Arjuna is thinking from that level. I want to renounce work, he's saying. Krishna is saying, no, you work for me, that is actually even better. And he gives different reasoning. From third to fifth chapter, Krishna is giving reasoning why working for me is better than going to Himalayas. It is better than working for yourself. It is better than this, better than that. That's what Krishna is explaining. Work for me. So then one can say in ISKCON, there's so many saffron brahmacharis, they have no give and take with the society. They have left studies and work. What about that? No, but we are working for Krishna. Actually, my uncle had this problem. He said, why you have to give up? You studied computer science, so better you do it for Krishna, isn't it? So I told him it's not that I'm going to Himalayas and I have no give and take for society. Rather, I'm in the society and doing only Krishna's work. That means when I go and teach, I teach the people. So that's teaching is a work. But I teach only Bhagavad Gita. So I'm a full-time Krishna devotee, full-time Krishna seva, isn't it? Not just I give the fruits of my work. I have given work also for Krishna. So two things. So therefore, what Arjuna does is not just give fruits of work. What he is giving, work itself for Krishna. So Arjuna is fighting not because he wants to fight. Arjuna is fighting because Krishna wants him to fight. So that is the highest work. That is called as Bhakti Yoga. So here, anyway, the point is that both are taking us to the same goal. As long as we are making some advancement in spiritual life, any rung of the ladder is fine, whatever is practical for us. As of now. So, Arun, you had a question?
Oh, that was the question. Like,
Okay.
why do people choose sannyas long if they could achieve God better?
Yeah, I could sense it. Okay. So, last time we already went through these verses. I will not go through them again. You have to go through them again in your free time at home. Yeah. So he's giving these two things, and let me just go to today's verse. So I give you a background.
So there is one concept
Yeah.
that has come up, which is Sankhya. Can you elaborate?
Sankhya we did in second chapter. Sankhya means analyzing matter and spirit. Like say I give you gulab jamun. If you're a Sankhya yogi, you will say, okay, gulab jamun, okay, object. Gulab jamun is an object. But how is gulab jamun made? Then you want to take apart everything. Okay, there is sugar, there's white flour, there's milk powder, there is maybe kesar and rose water in the syrup. Then there is some ghee or oil for frying. So these are the ingredients. That's Sankhya. You're analyzing. You take apart the elements and you're analyzing. Like for example, I can look at this material world. For example, actually, this material world, everything is based on three modes of material nature, isn't it? But if I just tell you, take this world to enjoy, and there's just three modes, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. Then how can you enjoy the three modes separately? But when you put the three modes together, then you get variety. For example, if I just give you green paint, blue paint, and red paint, not very attractive. But if I mix all of them and put a different nice painting, then it's very attractive. I can paint New York City. But basically, basic, the colors are just RGB. You do understand? But when I put the paint together, the different shades, different colors, some gradient. So then it comes emotion. But a Sankhya Yogi doesn't see like that. He says, what's so great in New York City? It's all cement and bricks or wood. So when you look like that, look at the world like that, you develop detachment. Mm. More you look at the just painting without the three modes, you fall into illusion, thinking it's there's something beautiful in this world. So Sankhya Yogi analyzes like that. Whereas a Bhakta Yogi, so Sankhya Yogi is he wants to detach. Bhakta Yogi also detaches, but at the same time, he will not say I don't like New York City. Rather, he will say such a great place to reach out Krishna to the people. Isn't it? So he uses, he doesn't reject. He takes and uses in Krishna Seva.
So Sankhya philosophy has a correspondence with renunciation of love.
All everything renunciation is a common factor for all yoga system. Any yoga system that does not have renunciation is an underlying factor in all yoga systems. But some places the renunciation may not be meaningful or it's too extreme or the purpose is lost. What is the purpose of renunciation? In the bhakti yoga system, you understand what is the purpose of anything we do, renounce or work or whatever. What is the purpose? Krishna is the purpose. It's very clear. Sankhya Yoga, they just want to detach. So therefore, they see in elements. So for us also, we can say you're attached to something very much, and that is becoming obstruction for you to develop your spiritual life. So now, if you want to develop detachment, then you can take the help of Sankhya Yogi, how he thinks. So now you can, say for example, you want to overcome sweet because, say, one is pre-diabetic. So from Sankhya Yoga, you can learn, okay, what is gulab jamun all made up of? It's white flour and sugar. Why am I going crazy for that? Isn't it? So that's how you get develop detachment. So Bhakti Yogi, he knows how to utilize all the philosophies to make advancement. Okay. Yeah.
Just like for Arjuna, Krishna is saying that you work for devotion.
Correct.
And
In devotion, yeah.
in devotion. In that sense, Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight for him
Correct.
without any desire of fruit or
Correct.
without
Yeah.
any expectation.
Yeah.
So, in modern world analogy, would it be fair to say if for a teacher to teach without the expectation of getting salary or getting rich out of it, and just for the propagation of knowledge, would be the same analogy?
That is actually Vedic culture.
Okay.
Teacher should never take salary. As soon as teacher takes salary, they are not interested in teaching.
Okay. So if a teacher is not desiring salary or something in return, he's just more concentrated on his teaching and propagating his knowledge, then it's equivalent to say his work like he's doing work with the
So now, if one wants to renounce the fruit, but you're saying he's not necessarily connected to Krishna.
right.
Correct. That's the point.
That teaching is not connected to Krishna only, but
Yeah, but he's still
any
detached from fruits. So
right.
it becomes nishkama karma. Full stop. Not nishkama karma yoga. As soon as you put the word yoga, that has to connect you to Krishna.
connected to Krishna.
Yeah. So here Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is explaining yoga systems. Not just, for example, when we say sakama karma, the Krishna doesn't use yoga. Sakama karma is just fruitive mentality, karma kanda. As long as you want something for yourself, people even worship Krishna to get something for themselves. Isn't it? That is not yoga necessarily. But it's on the way. At least they're approaching Krishna. Hmm? Okay. Okay, we'll go to today's. We can start from 8 to 9, this one. A person in divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. How is that possible? What is this verse saying? A person in divine consciousness, very spiritually elevated person, he's engaged, he's able to see, he's able to hear, he's able to breathe, he's doing all these activity bodily functions on a daily basis, but he understands he is not the doer. How is it possible? Yeah, you want to say something? Okay, he's just being controlled by, actually Krishna does not. Okay. I think okay. You got the clue. Okay, now you got the clue of how the verses are going.
He knows that it's like it's the senses that are like acting. Anything that he's doing, right?
You're the next sentence, huh? Yeah, it is the senses acting. Okay, but senses are dead, right? Body is dead. How can body act? Okay.
When the senses like
Hmm.
are engaged with the sense objects, then like they get.
No, but they're dead, right?
But when they
Like I'm
interact,
saying, when the table interacts with the cushion, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're dead. How can a table senses and sensor? So we were talking till now in second chapter, especially soul is what is the driving factor. When soul is there,
yeah.
body animates. But now Krishna, he is person understands in divine consciousness. When he's very spiritually elevated, he understands even though these functions are happening externally, I'm not the one doing it. What does that mean?
So anything that a person does, it's because of the three modes of nature. Any action that a person does.
Okay, we'll discuss more on that. Yeah, correct. They're watching. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
Is it soul's desire to do certain things?
Very good. Yeah, we'll come to that. That is the point. That is the point. I mean, the second part of the statement is because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, opening or closing eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with the objects and that he is aloof from them. Hmm? What does that mean? Because he understands, say, for example, hmm, you like to eat nicely. Some people are called as foodies because they really take pleasure in tasting different kinds of food. So now such a person, he eats different food items and he gets different levels of pleasure out of it, isn't it? Eating also gives pleasure. How many of you agree? Eating gives pleasure. Okay, not to. No, I know renounced Babaji here. You all accept. Eating gives a lot of pleasure. Now, person in divine consciousness understands what is the purpose of eating? Just to maintain the body. He doesn't take pleasure out of it. Understanding? So when the tongue comes in touch with the food, so person one who is in not in divine consciousness, he feels yes, this is the activity I'm going to get happiness in from. A person who is in divine consciousness understands this is this for the maintenance of my body. What is pleasure, pain? They just senses and sense object came together. They're producing some reaction. That's all. There's nothing really you have to take it very seriously. So we'll understand why he feels like that. So a person who is spiritually elevated understands this world, I'm not the doer. I'm actually the non-doer. But in our experience, we all feel I am the doer. And as we discussed, that is the motivating force for action for a materialistic person. Doership mentality is the motivating force. When people congratulate you for what you have done, when people give you name and fame, when you're awarded a medal for your achievements and accomplishments, it really gives us a good kick. And that is because of the doership mentality. And how this connects to the story I discussed initially, that small boy who wanted to drive separate, he didn't want to cooperate with father. He wanted his own car. And he felt great being in the small car, isn't it? That is the doership mentality. But actually, he's not driving. Probably the father car is pulling the other car, isn't it? But he feels because I'm moving the steering wheel, I'm kicking the pedal, I'm actually driving the car. And look at me, I'm also a driver, isn't it? But actually, father knows that toy car doesn't move properly. I'm the one pulling it. Similarly, in this world, there are many other factors which are doing work. And a person in illusion having this blind curtain, Maya Javanika Channam, Agnya Dhokshajam Avyayam. That means there's a curtain of Maya, illusory curtain, where one thinks, oh yes, I'm the one control of my life. I have everything in my grip. And that's when some suffering happens, when something doesn't go our way, it really gives us a reality check. Oh, probably things are not in my control. And that's when the living entity goes into depression, or some sort of, he feels, what is the use of life? So the real illusion is to make the living entity think you're in control. So we'll just go through that now. Can someone read the 11th one? Actually, where's the mic? Without the mic, I don't know where the mic is. Or you just read from this. Just read the
The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification.
So that means, if the yogis know that I'm not the doer, because previous verses are mentioning that he's not the doer. So if the yogi knows that I'm not the doer, I'm actually the non-doer, then why is he working in this world? Why? Hint is in the verse we just read. For the sake of purification. Why does one need purification? To attain Krishna. I meant, why is he looking for purification? To attain Krishna goal, but what does he want to purify? His heart. Soul is always pure. Heart, yeah. Okay. He wants to purify the heart from what? Last time I agreed. Okay. He wants to purify himself from the contamination of the three modes. Isn't it? That's why one is forced to act. And therefore one is forced to act and be part of this world. And therefore detachment is like big thing. People feel very, some boys I know, they said, Prabhu, I've stayed away from ISKCON till now because I've seen so many young people join as full-time brahmacharis. And therefore they never want to come close to ISKCON because they're scared, we will pull them. I said, it's nothing like that. There's nothing artificial. One has to really grow spiritually to actually give up work. Even if someone says, okay, aajao, and one pulls him, he cannot be away from work. It's not possible. He has to engage. And therefore, is not these things are not done by force.
How does mode of goodness contaminate? When you say modes of urination contaminates, how does mode of goodness contaminate?
Yeah, good question. Actually, mode of goodness contaminates because the characteristics of mode of goodness is sangha, is jnanam and sukha. Sukham and jnanam. Sukham is happiness, and jnanam is knowledge. Yeah. When you're happy, you're satisfied in this world, comfortable. We both in a comfort zone.
So mind staying for long time.
Yeah. So that comfort zone gradually degrades into complacency. This degrades into, happiness, complacency, and jnanam, knowledge, degrades into pride. I know better than all of these people. They don't know anything. Just muffs. But inside, outside, he's just saying that, yeah, you guys are great. Inside, he's thinking, such a fool. So this is because mode of goodness, you cultivate a lot of knowledge. You become really wise. So therefore, mode of goodness in the material world is contaminating because it's always tinged with modes of passion ignorance. You never get pure mode of goodness. Pure mode of goodness, you'll be Krishna conscious. So therefore, when sukham degrades into complacency, you fall down to ignorance, tamas. And jnanam, knowledge, degrades into pride, you fall down to rajas. Yeah. So it always brings you down. Yeah, you want to say something?
You said John refers into mind, right?
Yeah.
And he thinks that he's done everything, but outwardly he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if thinking doesn't do it, just thinking isn't like that thing. It's very natural. But putting it into action or saying it, maybe that's what.
No, of course, karma perspective, whether you get karmic reaction for it, that depends on action. But you can understand his consciousness is already degraded. Yeah. That means he's already he's in the three
Into
modes.
the consciousness and
Actually, eventually he lacked. Yeah. So
So you say that if we are taking pleasure from something, so that's the path to Maya instead of Lord.
yeah, pleasure. One's own pleasure.
Right,
Yeah,
right. But if let's say we are coming to temple and worshiping Krishna,
correct.
that's also like giving us pleasure, right?
But you're not doing for pleasure.
sport.
So
Yeah,
the pleasure that you get from working for Krishna is path to Krishna consciousness versus
correct. And a beautiful example is given in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjuna, sorry, Arjuna is calling Krishna, oh Govinda, please understand my plight. Understand what I'm going through. Why? Because the word Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the senses. So he gives pleasure to our senses. So Arjuna was telling Krishna, my dear Lord, you're called as Govinda, so you should be giving pleasure to my senses. And the purport Srila Prabhupada says, this is not the way. Govinda means giver of pleasure to senses. How? You serve Govinda, byproduct is you will be happy. Your senses are satisfied, isn't it? But you don't serve Krishna to get happiness. You serve Krishna for Krishna's happiness. When Krishna is Yasmin Tushtam Jagat Tushte. Sorry, Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam. Yeah.
Same example. If the jnana is related to Krishna, then maybe eventually, even now he's thinking that, I'm preparing one and not putting it into action. If eventually, maybe it will not happen, the jnana is connected to Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna will eventually.
Krishna will make sure yes, correct. Yeah, very good point. So therefore the yogis they act in this world for purification, purpose of purification. Okay. I have to reach the 15 and 16 as the verse. Okay, 12th one. The steadily devoted soul, maybe someone wants to read. Maybe someone. 12th one.
The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled.
So this is pretty clear. Yeah? Oh, who wants to explain? Now you're reading. Yeah, I mean, it's talking about the same thing. So when we offer the thing to Krishna, then one is not worried about it. But when people become greedy, I'm working to get the fruits. So, why didn't I get this? Why no promotion? Why not? So then he gets into a frenzy. He's not peaceful anymore. 13th. Yeah.
When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of nine gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done.
So this is very important verse. This 13, 14, 15, 16. This is what we are discussing from that time, and you will now see the essence. We'll just read the verse. Sarva karmani manasa
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा
sanyasyaste sukham vashi
सन्न्यस्याते सुखं
navadvare pure dehi
नवद्वारे पुरे
naiva
देहि
kurvan nakarayan. Now we just read this translation. We read this, right? 13th one. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he controls his nature. It's called as swabhava. Swabhava, you know what is swabhava? His swabhava is not good, we say. No? That means that nature, we have acquired that nature by being in this material world. And that nature is material nature, the three modes of material nature. It's very difficult to change the swabhava of a person. It is almost like the intrinsic nature. It has become part of them. Hmm? He's born with that because of his past actions. Some people are just by nature they're very angry. They succumb to temper. By some people by nature they are very greedy. By nature some people like to talk about others. By nature some people always are lethargic. So the swabhava is very very strong. But bhakti yoga can help one even change the swabhava. Okay. We'll go to the next one. See, controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions. He resides happily in the city of nine gates. What is the city of nine gates?
These doors, the body.
Yes. Who can name all the nine gates?
Eyes, nose,
Yeah.
ears, mouth, ears,
How many eyes?
2 eyes.
Okay, two.
Oh, so that's 2. Okay.
Yeah.
2
2
nostrils.
eyes, nostrils, mouth, 2 ears.
Yeah.
How many?
7.
7.
Kudadwar.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, anus and rectum. So you have 9 gates of the body. So he feels that soul is living in the city of 9 gates. Hmm? That means the soul is enjoying. He's enjoying being in this body. Why this analogy is given to understand soul is completely separate from the body. It's like oil and water; they cannot mix. Then how is soul feeling so much connected to the body, bodily activities? If sorry, I didn't eat today, I didn't have my lunch, I'm very tired, or I've become very anxious about it. So that means his bodily activity is affecting the soul. So why is there that strong connection?
Because over many lifetimes,
Okay, that is the okay. He's practiced eating
different body.
different body.
So I would like to give an example that I heard from
Okay.
my teacher. That, like how if you were like a scooter driver and somebody would call, "Hey scooter," he would just get up and start running towards you. But now he got promoted and now he has a taxi, and somebody would call for taxi, and he would get up and somebody would say taxi, and he would get up and like go towards them, even though he's not taxi, even though he's not a scooter,
Right.
but he would still relate to himself with taxi or scooter. So that's
Yeah, it's the identity.
yeah,
This is called as the false ego. Because the soul identifies with the body, it feels that I am this body. So the soul is actually living in the city of 9 gates, but it feels
connected.
I am this body. But actually it's different. It's like oil and water. Okay, we'll go next.
Prabhuji, in this
Yeah.
one, when it is said neither working nor causing work,
Hmm.
what work is this, and what is its connection with when we were previously talking about working in devotion or renouncing work?
Neither working nor basically it's saying that what we discussed, that actually the soul is a non-doer. He is not the one making this body work. He's not the doer of activities. That's the whole point we're discussing. He's a non-doer, isn't it? A person in divine consciousness, how he understands, he's doing his normal activities, eating, sleeping, breathing, seeing, hearing, but he understands that I'm actually not the doer of this activity because I'm separate from the body. And therefore, we are going to understand now, then how is it that this work is being done? Because the senses are dead, isn't it? Now, do you put effort to are you controlling the power of vision? I mean, did you get by your choice? So who's controlling vision? So that's the whole point. We are enjoying the facility of vision, but we are not the one who built this entire process of vision. So how is this working? The soul is just a witness, basically. So therefore, he's called as a non-doer. Then, but what is his? So why are we discussing about this non-doership? Basically, when we understand we are like the small son playing in a toy car, and who is being actually pulled by the bigger car, then we can understand I don't have to take my material life too seriously. People take this material world very seriously because yeah, people take this material world very seriously because they are thinking I'm the one controlling it. But when we understand there's so many other factors controlling our life, our input is very minute, and that's what we are going to see. What is that minute aspect of our input, and what other factors are actually controlling everything? Yeah. Okay. na kartitvam na karmani
कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि
lokasya sajati prabhu
लोकस्य सजति प्रभुः
na karma phalasam
न कर्मफलसंयोगं
स्वभावस्तु pravartate.
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
Pretty clear. Na kartritvam, not the doer, na karmani of any activity. Lokasya sajati prabhu in this world. Na karma phala samyogam. He is not the cause of any kind of fruit. Swabhavastu pravartate. Who is the cause? Nature. Swabhava is the cause. Like sometimes when you're in a particular situation, you really don't want to mess it up. But then someone else comes in your life and he starts, throwing insulting words. And naturally, you're trying not to be angry, just to be cool minded. But then you eventually become angry. How does it happen? You didn't want to. You didn't want to, but it still happened because Swabhava is working. That is the strong force. Okay. Yeah, Only.
The embodied spirit, master of the city of this his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature.
Yeah, very important. Very, very important understanding. This is Krishna's understanding. Krishna is the one who has made all this. His technology. So better to understand Krishna's technology from Krishna. So Krishna is telling us how this world is working by the three modes. Material nature is the force. We are not the one. Hmm. We just go complete the verses. Nadate kasyachit papam
नादते कस्यचित्
na
पापं
chaiva sukritam
न
vibhuhu
चैव सुकृतं विभुः
ajnanenavritam jnanam
अज्ञानेनावृतं
tena
ज्ञानं
muhyanti jantavah.
तेन मुह्यन्ति
So
जन्तवः
if Krishna is, if we are not the doers, why is there a feeling of doership that I am actually doing it?
Because we have formed personality, sort of this feature. What is
Okay, okay, something else. Why? What's the cause? What is the reason why we think we are the doers? Because till now, a person in divine consciousness understands I am not the doer of activities. Okay, ahamkar. Yeah.
freedom of choice?
What is the basically? I'm asking what is one level even deeper than ahankar? Sorry. Sabhav. Okay. Something more. What did you say, Prabhu?
Freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice. Yeah. That even below. You understood why we feel doership mentality? It is because of false ego. Yeah, but the soul is pure. It's completely knowledgeable. The nature of soul is Sat Chit Anand. Chit means knowledge. So it's completely knowledgeable. Then what happened? Maya,
Your heart,
desires.
your heart
What?
became impure.
Heart became impure. What do you say? False mentality. The word used is avidya. Avidya. Ignorance. Ignorance covers the soul. So Maya, who said Maya? Closest. Yeah, avidya covers the soul. So if I turn off the light, it would be very difficult to point out, say for example, where Suyog is. You don't know where Suyog is, then you have to ask, are you Suyog? You might think he is Suyog, and one might think he is Nitesh and he's Adoksh. So there's complete confusion when the room is dark. When you turn on the light, you can see things as they are. So in this verse, the next verse, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the cause of entanglement of the jiva in this world is the cause of entanglement of the jiva in this world is. No, I have to repeat multiple times because you're getting distracted. Agyan. Yes, that is the cause of
The doer mentality.
doers. Yes, that's what gets entangled in this world. And now he is saying that next verse he will say, but soul can come out of it. That means he can be in this body, but understand I'm not the doer and be unentangled. How is that possible?
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga. Some more in the same line of thought. Ignorance. Yeah. Ignorance covers That this we say, na, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Yes. That means when there is no knowledge, proper knowledge, spiritual knowledge, everything is dark. You don't know what things are. We depend on scientific study. Like recently, I told one student about, he had some problems. He was continuously burping. I said you should not fake it. It creates more gas problem. So immediately he took out his phone and he was looking for any, if it's true or not. you know. So I was just saying how much faith he has in the scientific article, which can change tomorrow. So this is all ajnana. Ajnana means is not complete knowledge. So so therefore we don't know what is going on in this world. We depend on multiple fallible sources, isn't it? The only way to understand the reality is to turn on the light. As long as we're in the dark, people are producing different kinds of research. Everything has some amount of mistake because we are in the dark room. You want to see things as they are, you want perfect knowledge, you have to turn on the light. And that means cultivate spiritual knowledge. So now Krishna is telling Arjuna, soul can come out of it. He can come out of this. He can be in this body but not get entangled. That means the boy, small boy, he can understand, actually, I'm not the driver. This car is anyway being pulled by the big car. How? He needs knowledge. He needs to understand, actually, this car is connected to the bigger car. Engine is there. My father is driving. There is no petrol in this car. How is the car moving? We're being pulled. Someone has to teach him some good sense, good knowledge. So therefore, what binds the living entity is ignorance. What enlightens the soul is knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So did we recite this? Yeah, we did. So ajnanena vritam jnanam. Ajnanena vritam. Avritam means to cover up. So the ignorance covers the soul. Tena muyanti jantavaha. Therefore, the soul is in illusion. Yeah. Yeah. With the mic, anyone read?
Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge.
Yeah. So now finally we'll come to the point. ज्ञानेन तु तद् अज्ञानम्
ज्ञानेन तु अज्ञानम्
ज्ञानेन तु तद् अज्ञानम्
ज्ञानेन तु तद् अज्ञानम्
येषां नाशितमात्मनः
येषां नाशित आत्मनः
तेषामादित्यवत् ज्ञानं
तेषाम् आदित्यवज्ञानं
प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
Someone with the mic.
When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which needs
Everyone can see the sun. At least they can feel the warmth of the sun, even if clouds cover it. For the atheists, they are wrapping themselves with the blanket. They have closed switch off the lights, turn off the lights in their room, put the shades on the windows, close the door. Naturally, there will be darkness, isn't it? So, therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna, this cultivation of knowledge is so powerful. This is the differentiating factor from illusion to reality, knowledge. So, therefore, anytime we get an opportunity to cultivate knowledge, we should never hesitate. I mean, when I'm talking about knowledge, I'm talking about spiritual knowledge, isn't it? Never hesitate, because more we understand, even now we are hearing, how much we understand is another big question. Because even to understand in greater depths, it requires qualification, spiritual practice. That means a person who's highly exalted, when he studies, he gets more understanding. Even then, yeah, my understanding may not be that much, isn't it? So how much we perceive and go deeper, that also depends on what our consciousness is. So therefore, as much as possible, we have to favor knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So now here Till here, Krishna spoke about the three doers. He introduced all the three. He introduced the spirit soul as the non-doer, material nature as the actual doer, and he also mentioned Krishna. He doesn't assume anyone or any position. He is not interfering here, but Krishna has a role as a sanctioner. Now, if you remember, we had done this understanding of the tripod. Yeah, let me see if I have it. Let me just quickly show you, then it becomes easy. Soul, is it? Okay. Yeah, we had done this before, right? You can see. Yeah. So here you see the soul. Why is it called as a non-doer? He is called as a doer, yet the non-doer. Why is he non-doer? Yeah. Soul is pure.
Soul is not doing.
Yeah. So why is he non-doer? Why is he called as non-doer? Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
His nature is like
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
always the nature. He wants to take
They're doing what? What is he non doing? What is nature doing?
Soul cannot do anything. Soul just desires.
Correct. Actually, he's correct. Yeah. What we're trying to what we're trying to control in this world, manipulate in this world, exploit material nature, actually we are thinking we are the doers, isn't it? And therefore there's something called as pride, because we think I am so great. In Krishna's pastime, Indra, Indra was receiving so much worship day in and day out. He thought, I don't need Krishna. I don't need anyone above me. I am giving the reins to these Vrajavasis. Vrajavasis are doing the yajna and worship to me. It's a good relationship. Sufficient. I am the one with the power. And then what did Krishna do? He told Nanda that you don't have to worship Indra. Actually, everything is based on karma. So because you are doing good activities, rains will come. So you don't worship Indra. So Indra got, ego problem. Who is this foolish blue boy Krishna saying that you don't have to worship me? Now I'll teach them a lesson. Because they don't worship me, I am going to thunderstorm and flood the entire village of Vrindavan. And then that's when he tried his best. He called for something called as Samvartaka clouds, which are the clouds, the thunderstorm which come at the time of devastation of the universe. He called for them to destroy one village. He tried his best, but Krishna he's unparalleled. Mattas parataram nanyat. Krishna says there's nothing equal to or above me. If Krishna is first, next rank would be million. There's no second to Krishna. There's no third to Krishna. So Krishna is unparalleled. So Krishna said, "Okay, Indra, now I'm going to teach you a lesson." When Krishna or Indra started flooding Vrindavan and thunderstorming and hailing all these, it is said the raindrops were a pillar size. The rain pillars which were being dropped, huge pillars of there's no rain drops. It's a pillar falling. So everything was destroyed, and Krishna, to purify Indra's ego, Indra's thinking, I can do whatever I want. If these people are so foolish to listen to a boy and not worship me, let me teach them who I am. So as he was trying to destroy Vrindavan, Krishna held up the Govardhan hill. And what is holding up the Govardhan hill? He used pinky finger of the left hand. People who are right-handed know is the weakest part of the hand. Pinky finger of the left hand to lift up the entire Govardhan mountain. And Indra thought, mountain, I can destroy it easily. And he tried his best. It is said not a blade of grass of the mountain was destroyed by Indra's Samvartaka clouds. Because they were all in touch with Krishna's finger, completely protected. And also Sudarshana was going around. So in this way, you find how Indra was trying his best. Have you can you relate to position of Indra? Sometimes Krishna doesn't want something to happen in our lives. We are like Indra. We are trying our best. We are saying, no, Krishna, I don't believe that you want this. Actually, you want me to do what I think is supposed to be done. And we are working against. You can try your best, but nothing works. And that's when we become humble. Oh, I was thinking I'm the controller. Everything is under my control. Everything is in my fingertips. But actually, it is not. And that's when Indra realized, actually, who is this Krishna, this blue boy? This blue boy Krishna is my boss. He is the one who has given me employment, isn't it? I forgot. I forgot he's going to take avatar. He's going to come this time. Because Indra was blinded by pride. So therefore he could not see. So Ajnana covered him. Now when he saw, immediately, of course, after the entire pastime, he went and put his crown at the lotus feet of Krishna and offered prayers, and he also took, Surabhi, who is a pure devotee of Krishna, the cow, because Krishna is lover of cows. So he took Surabhi to calm down Krishna. And then finally he said, my dear Krishna, I was thinking I am the one in charge. But I understood you are actually in charge here. And you are the one giving me powers. What powers? The powers to give rain, all this thing, all this Shakti is given by Krishna to the demigods. And therefore Indra said, I'm even ready to give you a resignation letter because of my actions. I don't deserve to be here. And Krishna said, no, because you're still my devotee. Yes, you have some material desires to receive worship and name and fame, but because you're still trying to be my devotee, you're following my orders. So I don't tolerate pride in the heart of my devotees. And therefore I did all this, Krishna said. And of course, Indra went enlightened. So in this way, you will find that the soul, now Indra understood. That person who thought everything is under his control, he realized everything is under Krishna's control. Similarly, as spirit souls, we are all thinking everything is under my control. Whose control is it under? Krishna's. Good knowns and material nature. She is only the facilitator. She is also following Krishna's sanction. And how it happens? Soul only desires. That is the free will. You can say, Prabhu, my free will. I can do whatever I want. No, you can only have desire to do whatever you want. Material nature has to. First, the desire goes to super soul. Super soul checks, is this person qualified to fulfill this desire? Does he have it in his karmic account? No? Then not sanctioned. You can try your best, nothing will happen. If Krishna sees, okay, he deserves it, okay, sanctioned, then material nature makes the arrangement. And I'll tell you how. If you have a desire, I want to be a millionaire, then you were just walking on the street and there was a lottery ticket, you just submit it to the wherever you submit, and then they call out your number or something, right? And they call out your number, and then it was your number, and you won $1 million, and you are thinking, yes, I'm so great. But actually, material nature arranged all the circumstance for you. You just, even Paramatma in the heart is pushing you, go on this in this road. Probably you would always choose the other road. This time you selected this particular street, and then you came across a ticket, you submitted, it was your number, you won $1 million, and one is thinking, I'm great. Only good Krishna doesn't say anything. Actually, Krishna is sanctioning it. Material nature arranges circumstances around us. So our part is desire. Therefore, doer. But mainly we are non-doer. How? Sanctioning department, facilitating department are there. Without their sanction and facilitation, we don't get anything. So, therefore, we can continue further discussion next time because already time. But this is a very important part of this chapter, fifth chapter, the knowledge of the three doers. And therefore, a person in divine consciousness understands, I am not the doer. As soon as we understand that, we will get a reality, more deeper vision to reality. To the degree I think that I am the doer, to that degree my reality is blurred by the curtain of Maya. It's up to you. Do you want the curtain of Maya or you don't want the curtain? That depends on the Doer-ship mentality. More you think, okay, I am the one in charge, more the whole reality changes. More you think, understand Krishna is the doer, reality changes. You see different things. Hmm. So we'll pause there. You had your what else?
As we discussed, the soul can only desire. So
Correct.
every soul has different desires. Are
Yeah.
the desires predestined, or we have the right to choose the desires?
You have the right to choose. Right to choose means basically the soul in different lifetimes he has come across different circumstance. That's how he cultivates desires with the help of senses and the mind.
But let's assume you and me, we both
I
have
can
different
the
desires.
base root, the main desire is what of the soul? I want to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's Krishna's spiritual world. Where is my spiritual world? Krishna, you're the hero here. I also want to be a hero. So Krishna gave a toy car. And here we are thinking, okay, I'm the main person. Everyone feels I'm very important, isn't it? If you're in this bus, everyone is thinking, that person is looking at me, this person is looking at me. So we're very self-conscious. Actually, no one is looking. So that is how our consciousness gets affected. The base root desire is, I want to enjoy separate from Krishna. From there, the manifestation of that desire happens in different ways. Whether you want to be a gold medalist, you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to be a patriot, national patriot, whatever it is, it takes different forms. But the root desire is, Krishna is the hero there, I will be hero here. My father is driving the main car, where is my car? I am the driver. That is the root cause. Yeah.
But people who came here, for example, people who are in Krishna consciousness, they are not having that desire, right? So since they
Which
want
desire?
to, I mean, doing something away from Krishna. So right now, whoever.
Oh, it is there. It's Swabhava. That's why I said, no? Swabhava is very intrinsic. We're all here because we want to overcome the Swabhava.
Okay.
Hmm? For example, now I'm saying that I'm speaking these things. But in my mind, I was thinking that I should be the best speaker. Now, Swabhava is very, very deep. We want to purify the Swabhava. So at least consciously, we want to serve Krishna. Subconscious mind is yet to get purified. Swabhava rests in the subconscious mind.
Yeah, I get
Hmm?
it.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay. So we discussed a lot today. So my request is, if you don't um, revisit these points during the course of the week, or at least read the section or read the purport. I'm just giving you the gist of the purport myself. Actually, you yourself can read it on vedabase.io. We're doing fifth chapter. If you have to go read through it, there's also this book Gita Subodhini by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He himself is from IISc Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science, and he has done a beautiful job in summarizing and connecting different points, and very beautiful. In study of Bhagavad Gita, you can study this, and you have to keep visiting. If you're not familiar with what we are speaking, then next time again ABCD. We can never go ahead. And many of these things we had already discussed in past classes. So thank you very much. And also, on one other thing is, if you're not chanting Hare Krishna regularly, that means we still think I'm in control of my life. More, what is our action plan or take home point, practical application is, more we understand Krishna is in control, I'm the non-doer, more we can depend on Krishna. More we are depend on Krishna means what? Put Krishna in the beginning, priority. That means we will take out time to give to Krishna because we know Krishna is the one managing. Krishna is so powerful. He says, "Kalosmi, I am time," and that means for a devotee, Krishna can make the 24 hours equal to 48 hours. You can ask the devotees here; they feel the same. It still is 24 hours. Brahma lives 100 years, we live 100 years, but the experience is different. The calculation is different. Our 100 years is equal to, in human years, Brahma lives 311 trillion years. But he actually lives only 100 years. So Krishna can, like Dwarka, he had how many palaces for his wives? One for each. How many wives?
16,000.
16,108 palaces. Can you imagine in a land? But Dwarka was not a very big place. 16,108 palaces, and Krishna's palace is not like today's 2 BHK apartment. Huge. more very grand, lot of jewels, and so Krishna could establish, manifest all the 16,000 palaces in a small land of Dwarka. How is that possible? Possible for Krishna. How so? Therefore, when we give 2 hours of our time, not 2 hours, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, daily, then what Krishna does, he can pack 48 hours in your 24 hours. There's no scientific understanding of how this happens. Mechanism you cannot understand. But Krishna has material energy under his control. We are trying to manipulate material energy. We are trying to put so many things. See how sleek this iPad is, but so many things inside. Everything is chip and based on design. So similarly, Krishna's design, Krishna can pack in whatever he wants. So if we give to Krishna, we never stand to lose. And more we chant, more we depend on Krishna, it will be practical application. When you apply something and live the philosophy, then philosophy makes sense. If we only become armchair speculators, only hearing and okay, oh point, or you said, if you know practical action, then there's no transformation of heart. The knowledge is useless. Hmm? Arjuna heard Gita and picked up Gandiva. Transformation. He acted. Not that good, go on, 1 hour you spoke. Further, I'm very interested in hearing. No. After he heard, he acted. Very important. Otherwise, we'll not understand anything. Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. For Kali Yuga, all of you are very amazing. You are able to sit for so long. Not expected. Thank you very much. Your prasadam is here in the restaurant. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, online devotees. Oh, yeah,
Before coming to Krishna consciousness, my swabha was different. I mean, I
yeah,
used to get angry, I
correct,
used to comment on others. But
correct.
after coming here, starting to, there is a lot of change because it's the
Correct.
starting time of Krishna consciousness.
Hmm.
But after that, again, that swabha comes in. So it's like, is it our nature that we have all that things, and then once you come in contact with this, you'll. But at the end, it is still coming sometimes.